listening, and welcome back to yet another episode of your Slightly Mighty podcast, the local podcast dedicated to the many musicians, venue owners, and concert promoters who call Charleston, South Carolina their home. My name is Hop, your host and humble facilitator, and today will be our 20th episode together. This episode will also serve as the final interview show of Season 1. Unsure exactly what the future holds for this podcast, but I'm sure we'll meet again. Don't know where, don't exactly know when, but I am quite certain we'll meet again some sunny day. It has been and continues to be an enlightening and educational experience for me, and I'd like to once again say thank you to all of you who have participated and listened to these conversations. As stated before, all of our previous conversations are available for free on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, and YouTube. If you'd like to help grow the show, please share the show on whatever social media platforms you inhabit. It really does make a huge difference, as I am a one-man production crew, so every single share helps. So I've been wanting to experiment with the format of the show anyway, and due to some last-minute scheduling mix-ups, I got that opportunity presented to me a bit early. So this episode offers 3 different interviews. Lorrie Griggs from Drifter Merch, the newly retired and Mexico-bound Ed Porkchop Myer, as well as a brief last word with Maybank Public House's Drew Madden, where a majority of this show has been recorded live. Regarding a possible Season 2, I think I want to tinker with the format a bit more. I've been learning on the job for 20 episodes, and I'm just now starting to feel more at ease with the sound of my own voice. If the show does come back, I'd like to include more guest hosts, a couple more hands to help grow the show, more types of featured guests, and perhaps maybe some live music elements. I'm so very thankful to all the guests who lent their time, thoughts, and energy to this show. I think we can all agree that no matter how clumsy my podcast has been at times, the guests themselves were wonderful. They really shared a lot, and I could only pay them in stickers. And I don't think Corey and Zach even got stickers. That was more like episode 4. I think I got them. Anyway, please share your favorite episodes online and help me grow the show as I step away to focus on some other things. Hope you enjoy the show. For today's first guest, we have local impresario and entrepreneur Lorrie Griggs kindly joining us by phone. To put it mildly, Lorrie wears a lot of hats, some of which she sells through her company Drifter Merch. Among her many other ventures, Lorrie is also the founder of the popular Drifter Fest Burt Griggs Memorial Jam. I don't typically discuss current events on this podcast due to the delayed schedule, but since this rather mighty episode debuts on September 1st, I think we'll be okay just this once. If you are listening right now, cancel your plans and buy some tickets for this great local event, as it's being held this weekend in Charleston. This year's musical acts include Big Something, Kanika Moore and the Brown Boys, and Just Groove at the Refinery on September 6th, and will be bookended by a couple cool satellite shows featuring Machine Funk on September 5th at Home Team Barbecue and Junko Partner at Vickery's on September 7th. In my humble opinion, Charleston needs a lot more of this kind of thinking and doing, as I'm sure you all agree. We're very lucky to have Lorrie with us today to discuss just that during our first interview. So, welcome to the podcast, Lorrie. Thanks for taking some time out to talk with us today. How's the traveling going? You still on the road, or what was you doing?
Yep. Heading back from Charlotte for Neil Young. Appreciate you having me on the way back to Shuttown.
So tell us a little bit about yourself. How did all this get started?
Well, I went to Alabama for college. I'm from Winston-Salem. And got a job out of college at CNN, working in news production. Did that for about 15 years, and had a lot of downtime just because I worked crazy hours, crazy days, and started working for an advertising company. Didn't like the way they ran their company, and decided to start my own. So I started Eskimo Advertising on the side as a side business, and it kind of took off, and I ended up leaving CNN after a couple of years, and had my advertising business kind of 20 years, but a little bit in the middle of that, I met my husband, and he always had cool ideas for t-shirts, and we started a business called Drifter Merch, and started making jam band inspired t-shirts and merch all tying around the scene.
Right. What are some of the places that you guys go?
For shows and stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, around Charleston, we did everything, like from the Folly Street Festival to Party at the Point, Palmetto Park Jam, those types of events. But our real, we have such a following and a lot of fans is when we actually do the shows. anywhere from Widespread Panic to Dead and Company, Fish, Billy Strings, Goose, and do the parking lot scene and do a little shakedown.
That's
and
cool.
That's when it's like, really fun, captive audience. People always want a T-shirt from the show.
Right. So how many? I guess are they kiosks? Is that what it looks like? I mean, I'm just trying to explain to people who aren't there. What?
Oh yeah. It's Shakedown Street originated like with the Grateful Dead.
Yep.
Back in the day, and it's just you set up a tent in the parking lot, and there's usually at least 15 to 100 people, depending what show you're at.
Right.
And you just usually pay parking or pay a fee and set up, and from before the show, people come wander around and shop and hang out, and then after the show, they come back.
How many of those do you do it? Like, do you have several out at once, or just kind of one that moves around?
Well, so I'm not like a full on tour person. I pop in and out.
Gotcha.
I have a 7-year-old daughter, so I can't really get on the road and travel like a lot of people go show to show and everything. Widespread Panic's like been my main. That's my favorite band. So that's my main gig, my main shows, shirts I have the most of. And they tour usually once a month. So that kind of fits in my schedule pretty well. But we just did Fish 3 nights in Charleston as well recently. And
I missed
3
that
nights
one. I couldn't believe it. I actually had to miss that one. I was out of town that weekend.
I heard that from so many people. It's kind of funny.
That was a bummer. But how was it? A good show? Yeah, good show.
Oh my God, they were great shows. Fish is on fire, and I mean, I've been seeing them since the '90s.
Right, me too, actually.
Yeah, no, they're just fun and kooky, and their music's great. I just hadn't seen them in a while, so it was real refreshing.
That's cool. So what pulls you towards this music, this jam band music? Have you been in it your whole life, or you're a fan, or are you also a musician? By any chance?
I'm not a musician. Just a fan.
Okay.
Been seeing live music since college. I went to Alabama, like that was all these big jam bands were coming through when I was in college and playing at bars and that kind of thing. So we were getting to see, the bands that are big now when they were smaller, and being in a southeastern school, we got a lot of the good bands coming through. And then when I moved to Atlanta, like same deal, like tons of music came through. So we were always going out to see music. And then when I moved to Charleston, there wasn't as much music coming through at that point. I moved to Charleston about 15 years ago. And I was like, oh, that's the only thing about not living in Atlanta is like Charleston doesn't get the music.
Yeah, I'm saying, I think I kind of transplanted here about that time.
Well, the funny thing is there were so many awesome local bands. So, there was always music to go see because we had great local bands always playing.
Sure.
And then, some, things changed. We got the Refinery, we got Firefly, just some different venues that like started bringing in the mid-range artists. And then the big ones were still coming to the Coliseum and stuff. So, it just kind of, I don't know how it came to fruition, but all of a sudden we were getting all the shows.
Yeah. Right. So what kind of music moves you to buy some tickets and go? What are you looking for when you're looking for a concert to go check out?
Oh, well, I mean, I like the ones I like to see, but then, it's just people tell you about new bands. They're like, oh, you need to go check out this band. And that's what makes it fun is to discover new bands like that. Especially like I had someone in Atlanta, tell me recently, they're like, oh, we saw this band last night. They're playing the Poorhouse tonight. You got to go see them. And I was out of town, but I can't even remember who they were. But things like that it's just like learning about new music. And we do a lot of these festivals and events. And so, a lot of them have these up and coming bands playing. So that's kind of cool.
So you spend a lot of time, at these at shows at the lot scene. I guess that was the inspiration for Drifter merch, right?
Kind of. I mean, yeah. How it really started was my then boyfriend. My husband was my boyfriend at that time, and we were living out in Jackson Hole, and couldn't get his drawers shut when I was doing laundry, and I was like, oh my God, you got so many T-shirts, and kept pulling them out, and I'm like, this one's cool. And he was like, oh, I made that for this show. My buddy's a printer. I always make shirts for my friends. And, my marketing mind, I was like, you should start a website. Like, these are super cool.
That's cool.
And yeah, no, we started with 3 designs and now have like 70. And it's interesting. Like, it was never meant to be a business. It was always just for fun. Like, oh yeah, we'll sell some t-shirts at a show.
Right.
And then it just sort of took off that, when we moved back to Charleston from Jackson Hole, like it changed just because there were a lot more music type events. And, there's so many events around Charleston, but I don't vend like farmers markets or things like that. I have to vend things that have the bands that tie into what I'm selling. Because people will be like, oh, your shirts are so soft. These are nice, but what does all this mean?
Yeah, you have to draw them a map, right?
We have some mainstream, shirts for those type of events, but and we have some non-jam band events. Shirts, and it just kind of evolved like that. And then another aspect of our business is custom orders. We do a lot of like when we're not at shows, we're not traveling Monday through Friday, I call it. We do custom orders for businesses, schools, bands, events, and
largely based out of Charleston, I guess, or just whoever.
Our printer's actually in Hartsville.
Cool.
And that's where Bert's buddy is and gives us wholesale rating. So we're kind of a broker, and we have. I have different printers. I have a printer in Atlanta, and I have different vendors for different things. I have the people who make. We do custom tents, custom flags, and that's a totally different vendor. It just depends what people need and
sure.
How we can make it happen for them. But it's super cool, and it's just like when we moved back from Jackson Hole, that ended up like parlaying Bert into my late husband. That ended up being his full-time job because we were, doing these shows and people were like, I like your product. Could you do some shirts for my business? And we were like, yeah, we totally could do that. That's just kind of how that evolved.
It's kind of how some of the best ideas happen, right? Just kind of like just paying attention to circumstances.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. It's just like, with COVID and everything, how everybody had to pivot and figure out how to do things differently.
All right. So let's talk about Drifter Fest. Care to discuss some of the history with that?
So Drifter Fest is, it's called Drifter Fest, the Bert Griggs Memorial Jam. The husband that I was referring to has passed away 5 years ago. And when he died, I wanted to do, something to remember him. It was kind of going to be a celebration of life type event. He died right before the holidays, and, a lot of people couldn't come to the service and everything.
Right.
And, so I got with the poorhouse, and Alex was nice enough to help me set up an event. And the bands that all played, were all his buddies that were in bands. And, we had Show Enough, Solid Country Gold,
cool.
Gaslight Street, and, several bands playing. And it was, just kind of meant to be a celebration of life, but I kind of had it in the back of my head that I'm like, I'm doing this annually.
That's awesome.
And, the next year, I partnered with Rob Lamble of Ear for Music, who puts on a lot of music around town. And, he helped me kind of take it to the next level, and we moved it over to the refinery. And it was kind of funny because the first year we had it, the refinery wasn't even open yet. It was like in the process, and they were permitting and, trying to get all this stuff worked. Like, we had to build it out. They let us just rent the space.
Oh, cool.
And now the refinery and Ear for Music are my partners in the event.
In just like 2 years' time, right? Basically, from year to year. That's awesome.
Yeah, and a lot of people are like, "Well, how'd you know how to do that? Well, how'd you put this together 3 months after he passed away?" And I'm like, that's what I do. I do marketing and plan events for my clients. I put on events myself and that kind of thing. So, but it was also really healing for me.
Sure.
It gave me something to focus on, and
his friends too, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. His friends and family. he was a big Neil Young fan. I was just actually in Charlotte with some of his buddies, and they were just like, oh my God, I'm thinking about Bert. He's here with us and
that's
that kind of thing. It's awesome. But that's how it is at the festival too. And his parents, it's one of the highlights of their year to be able to come, and, people come talk to him, to tell them stories. And
that's
it's
amazing.
Just a great way to remember someone.
Right.
But it's gone beyond that, in that I've had a lot of support from my friends, like, people come every year just really to support me. But I mean, they all, want to come see the music. So like, if you didn't know who Bert was, it's not like that. It's just, I mean, I do get up and speak and thank everyone for coming, but like 5 minutes, but the rest is just like, live music.
Yeah.
And in the past, we've had bands like Indecision, George Porter, Tishomingo. And this year we have Carl Denson. And
love
this
Carl
year,
Denson, by the way, one of my favorites.
He played last year.
That's great.
And then this year we have Kanika Moore opening for Big Something.
Cool.
And a local one-man band, Robert Corbett, does his Just Groove, and he opens the show and plays in between the bands.
That's cool.
And so he plays like a little funky jam. So
yeah,
it's just like, just a fun little, day of music. And everybody's like, are you ever going to make it into a real festival? And I don't want to,
well, what's a real music festival? Just got music.
Well, I mean, I don't mean it like that. I mean it like an all day, 2 day.
Oh, yeah.
All day long.
Yeah, right. I'm just saying that, like, a music festival is a music festival. I'm just,
right.
But
like Georgia at 5, the music starts at 6 on Saturday. But the way I make it into like a little festival is I always do something on Friday night. We have Machine Funk, a Widespread Panic tribute band, playing at Home Team Barbecue downtown on Friday night, and that's a free show. And we partner with Home Team since we started as well, and that's always fun. To kick off the weekend. And then on Sunday, we have Junko Partner playing at Vickery's on Shem Creek from 4 to 7. And that's a free show as well. So it's just, I kind of plan it like, it's not a festival per se, you're in the same spot, but it gives you something to do the whole weekend long. And then if you're coming from out of town, you have plenty of daytime to go to the beach or go shopping downtown, eat and drink and that kind of stuff. There's always so much fun stuff to do in Charleston. And I don't want people to be like, stuck not
doing any of it.
Being able to enjoy Charleston too. And even the people that live there, I mean, they want to go on the boat during the day. It's September. It's still nice. But I guess I should tell you the dates. The dates are September 5th through the 7th. It's the weekend after Labor Day. People keep thinking it's Labor Day, but it's Labor Day's in August this year for some reason. Yeah, it's kind of weird. But yeah, so it's going to be a good time, and everybody can get information at drifterfest.com and get tickets there. The Saturday is the only event that's ticketed. It's only a $30 ticket.
That's
we
cool.
have VIP for $60.
That's old school festival prices there.
Yeah, we try to keep it reasonable. I never wanted to make it too expensive because I wanted people to come out and enjoy themselves, and kids under 12 are free.
That's great. So any advice you might have for anybody who would want to start their own Charleston thing like this? I mean, anything that you've learned that could help them?
Oh gosh, my advice, I mean, you learn every year and you learn by doing different things, is what's been the best thing for me is partnering with Ear for Music, because they run production. They run production for Firefly Refinery. They do a lot of stuff out in the North Charleston as well. And like everything I don't know, Rob knows. So it was great to work with him because he like handles everything I don't know anything about music wise and putting on a show and that kind of stuff. So that's my advice, is surround yourself with the people that know how to do what you don't know how to do.
Well, that's good. Concise too. Thank you.
I know. I mean,
what are some things we could do around here to make the scene a little better? Any ideas?
I don't know. A lot of people say that it's like oversaturated with bands and everything. I personally like to know that any night I want to go out, I can find some good music somewhere. My advice is, because I do marketing, is bands need to promote themselves more. Like a lot of times the venues aren't necessarily doing it for you, that like you've got to put it out there yourself too. Like for instance, Southern is right. I live in Mount Pleasant. Southern's right down the street from me. Mm-hmm. They never post their stuff on social. And I'm like, wow, I didn't even know they had music still, and someone, Gilbert and Troubadour plays up there, and Reed will hit me up and he'll be like, hey, we're playing up here. I'm like, so glad you told me, because, I wouldn't have known otherwise, that type of thing. So yeah, promote yourself if you're in a band.
What's the best way? And as a person who knows how to do this stuff, what's the best way to do that? Instagram, or is there some sort of secret key?
No, I mean, there's no secret to marketing. It's just putting yourself out there in as many ways as possible. I mean, social's free.
Right.
You build your following, and but, promoting yourself at your shows, when you're on stage, telling people to follow you and that kind of thing, as well as having a website. I mean, if you're a band and you have a website and keep it updated with your tour dates, and people like your band, they're going to come see you.
Sure. It almost seems too simple.
Well, I know, but
I'm joking.
Well, what I've learned in business is you have creatives and you have business people, and usually people are not both.
Right.
And that's what I found early on doing marketing. A lot of people have great ideas, but they don't know how to execute it because they're more creative than business.
Right.
And
there's only so many hours in the day too. Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I get it. I get that for sure. Anything big on the horizon you'd like to mention before we roll out of here? I mean,
I will, because I just
please. Let's hear it.
I'm working on another event for October 11th in Park Circle with Common House Ale Works, and we did little pre-parties over there for fish and goose.
Cool.
And I ran the vendors, and then Pierce over there got the bands and everything. We had some good events. And he was like, I've been having this idea. I wanted to do like a jam band event out here and close off the streets. Will you partner with me on it?
Wow.
And we just booked the Reckoning to play, and we're going to have about 20-25 vendors and do a little shakedown street down the street right in front of Common House Ale Works, and that's on October 11th.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
What time does that kick off, you say?
That's going to be 12 to 5.
12 to 5. Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm. It's a day event.
Yeah, everybody gets to go. That's cool.
It's October. The weather will be good. It won't be hot.
Oh, yeah.
We did an event before Panic over at New Realm Brewing on Daniel Island, and they've got a good vibe too. Like, that's kind of the go-to place to go if you're going, to a concert at Credit One. And they always have pre-parties before pretty much every band that plays. And before Panic, we did a Moontime Market, which is something I organized during the Panic runs all over the country. But this one just happened to be in Charleston. And, normally on Daniel Island, they don't allow vending or a shakedown or anything. And so we partnered with New Realm, and they have this grassy lawn beside it. And we had 35 vendors and a food truck out there, and they had bands on the stage. That's on the patio of the brewery. Oh, and we made a little private shakedown, and it was awesome and so much fun.
That's fun.
So a little shout out to them as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, not to mention all these breweries have great beer.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, Charleston's got a lot of just awesome stuff going on these days, doesn't it? It's ridiculous.
I know everybody's moving here, but there are things to do, and it's fun to get out, and I like to get on the water as much as possible, but I also like to go see my live music.
Yeah, right. Well, we're going to close this thing out by listening to some Big Something, The Mountain. Anything in particular, the reason why you picked this band or this song to want to hear?
Oh man, Big Something's one of those they're kind of jammy electronica sound, and I've been seeing them for like 10 years, and they're just one of those bands that I can't figure out why hasn't really taken off. And they're just consistently good, and they've gotten so much better lately that it's just crazy. And so many people have told me, they're like, I've always heard of this band, but I've never seen them. I'm like, oh my God, you got to go see them. They're just fun, high energy, and and my boyfriend's from Burlington, grew up with these guys, and he's like a huge fan, and he always was trying to say, let's get Big Something to play. And I'm like, oh, they've always been on my list. And so we were able to work it out this year.
Well, thanks for take some time out to talk to us today. I appreciate it. Come back and talk to us next year if you want.
I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, you got a lot going on, and I'd like to have you back. So have a good one.
Okay, well, thank you.
Okay, thanks.
time so I can try to put it all behind me. Left walking alone on this long hill that I'm on. Coming up, I'm coming up the mountain. The sun is up and I see it all again. World is moving with time, and pretty soon bright dawn hits my eyes. Today I should take the time to ease my mind and try and find what's left of it. Watch the sun melt the frost like what was lost and what it cost to put it all behind me. And I'm walking alone over this steep hill that I'm on. Coming up, I'm coming up the mountain. The sun is up and I see it all again. The world is
right. Well, welcome to the show, man. Ed Porkchop Myer. How would you like for me to respond to you, to call you during the interview? Ed or Porkchop?
Well, I'm kind of like a formerly Porkchop because I'm not playing anymore, and so I'm back to being Ed.
Just Ed. Okay. All right.
I mean, I'm okay. I'll answer to anything. But
so the Porkchop was the stage name. How did you get that name?
Really, a guy. I was Ed, and I was, and then I was playing a gig where Ms. Rose's is now, and but then it was called the Sunfire Grill, I think it was.
Okay.
And there was a guy that was drunk, and he actually he between songs he said, "Play something I know." Hey, you pork chop, play something I know. And so he called me a pork chop, and so I kind of made fun of him, and I said, it's 5:30 and I'm drunk as hell and my wife hopes I never come home. I said, you know that one. And then, so I didn't think anything of it really, but the next week when I came in, like as soon as I walked in, the hostess and the manager and everybody was like, pork chop, you pork chop. So
it kind of stuck.
Yeah, it stuck.
That's cool.
Actually, probably it made more money than Ed.
Did he? Did you ever see that guy again, or do you think he even knows?
No. I hope I don't. I won like 10%.
Right. Yeah, he's jumping into your game now. Okay. So tell me about the early days, man. Have you always been in Charleston? Was you born here? Did you come here? What was it?
No. I was born in Detroit, but my family moved when I was like 5 to a town in Indiana, the top of Indiana, about 30 miles out of Chicago. And so that's where my wonder years were there. And then once I got college age, then I started moving around, and I moved a bunch of places, Texas, a bunch of places. I was a theater major in college, and so I I worked in regional theaters for about the better part of 10 years, and so that moved me around.
So you were an actor. You were an actor. I'm trying to get it right.
Yeah.
Okay. What was your acting experience like? Were you a Shakespearean guy or a modern guy or?
No, it was mostly doing like musicals and stuff like that, popular plays.
All right,
things.
cool.
But I was lucky enough to work a couple of places where did some good stuff, like some Beckett and cool stuff.
Right.
And so yeah.
The stuff that doesn't pay most of the time. Right?
Nothing I did paid. I never made any money until really like just about 3 years ago. I took a like basically a desk job, a laptop sort of data entry online job, and that I'm not used to it. It's pretty weird to do that.
So when did you come to Charleston?
First moved here in 1991. I was living in Portland, Portland, Oregon, and I had planned to at some time go spend a chunk of time in New York City, and so I didn't want to try to be an actor in New York City because it's like Nashville Cats. There's like 8 million other people already in line.
Right.
So I went to cooking school. I went to technical college, 2 years cooking school, and so I figured I could get a job in a kitchen in New York, easier than a theater, and it worked. And so I met a woman, Gail. We've been together since '88.
Oh wow!
And we both went to Hoboken. She's a musician as well. I met her in theater. She plays saxophone. So we ended up doing some really weird duo gigs in New York City back in like 1990. But it was too cold. She didn't like the winter, and so one day she said, take me somewhere warm. And so I got a map. I said, you want to stay in America? I said, yeah. I said, well, what about the West Coast? No, too much family out there. And then, so I started going around state to state, and she said no to every place. And I said, well, that leaves Charleston, South Carolina, or Savannah, Georgia. So we came down and spent a weekend looking at both of them. And Savannah it was Sunday and it was closed. And so we came to Charleston and came in over the bridge coming from the south on 17. And so you go over the water and the city's kind of spread out there, and it was pretty. And I was like, we can live here. So we did. So we lived here for about 3 years. And then we kind of got sick of everything. I was working in a band. I was working in a school, and I was working catering and not making any money. So we decided to split. A friend of ours, a guy named Jeff Watkins, who is a saxophone player, said to me, he'd already been all around, and he said, you play piano and both you guys sing. Why don't you just go anywhere you want? So we went to Thailand. Wow. So we lived there for 4 years. Came back to America, lived in Texas and Austin for 3 years. And then I wanted to move to Florida. Gail started crying. I said, what's the matter? She said, I don't know. I'm sick of going places I don't know anybody. And I said, well, what do you want to do? She said, I miss Charleston. Oh. So I figured she'd get sick of Charleston after about another 6 months. And so we moved back here. And instead, she bought a house. We got a dog. We put a fence up. We got a mortgage.
Sounds kind of familiar, actually. I relate to that.
Oh yeah. That's how that ended up.
Yeah, that's how I got here. So, what was the scene like back then? Well, yeah. Oh yeah, I came from West Virginia down here. Same thing.
Oh, okay.
I got here when I was 30.
Do you know Charlie Neely? That was one of the first people for Chico Frio, and then
yeah, I do.
Now he's a manager at Baker's Bar.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I didn't know that's where he was.
He's West Virginia. He spent some time up there too.
Well, good for him. That's why I liked him. So, what was the scene like back in those days, man?
Here?
Yeah, here in Charleston.
It was starting in the 90s. It was kind of when I first came to town back in really 35 years ago. I came in and I just automatically started looking for any place that had music and places to meet people that were playing music. And at the time, the Blues Society had sort of a home and a regular thing going on at Cumberland's down on Cumberland Street.
Right.
And so I went in there a couple of times and fell in with a group of guys. Steve Hardy, who still plays guitar here in town, a real good guitar player. And a couple other guys, Ted Donlan, now he's in Vermont. Anyway, they were going to have a blues festival. They used to have a blues festival here in town every year in February. Gary Irwin put it together. And so as part of that, they had a battle of the bands. And so these guys recruited me to come and be like a vocalist and play keys with them. And so we only... We started practicing. We learned enough songs to do the 20 minutes that you were supposed to do for your set for the Battle of the Bands. And then we won the Battle of the Bands. So then we had to be a band and we had gigs. And so that just kind of expanded from that to, and I did that pretty much all the way until we moved in 94.
And what was the name of that band?
The Flat Cats.
The Flat Cats. Okay.
I was not at that meeting.
It doesn't really matter what bands are called anymore, especially these days. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, Spoon. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that was just
ran out of names.
Yeah, that was just laying around. Somebody's like, "Has it been tried?"
There's a band Thrice that's out of California. That's I think they named themselves after one of their members. Scored the high score on Frogger 3 times. Thrice.
That's pretty good, though.
Yeah.
It's all bad.
Yeah, it is tough. Yeah.
So you made an announcement a while back on Facebook that you were retiring from music. What's life been like on the other side of that mountain? How's it been?
Man, it is so busy. I mean, I still have this job which eats up about 30. When I stopped, I had this job that eats up about 35 hours a week, and then on top of that, playing music. Even I was down to only 3 gigs then because I'd already dropped my Sundays. And so getting up to be like 60 hours a week of doing stuff and then trying to live and all like that. So right. Something had to give. And I knew more than I've known for a long time that my plan was to retire down to Mexico somewhere. And so Gail hit retirement age this year, and she retired. And so then it's been just kind of getting the house together, getting rid of shit, cleaning up 25 years worth of crap in the yard and the house. And I'm not going to try to like make any money in Mexico because I'm not funded by anybody, and I don't have it. Could happen,
right?
But I'm not going. I told them, the Mexican government at the consulate, no, I'm not going down to make money. I'm going down to just live off of retirement.
Right.
So that's the deal. I just had to shelf it. I'm still a musician, but I just had to get some free time to get this stuff together, and it still seems like there's never enough hours in the day.
Well, yeah, that's right. So, how often are you sitting down with the piano to play these days? You just play every day?
I don't have one anymore.
You don't have a piano?
No, I gave them all away. I gave one to Baker's Bar. I gave 2 of them to Fox, and gave one to some kids that are starting a band. I don't know what the name of their band is, but yeah, no, I haven't got anything. I haven't got any speakers or nothing. But I'll tell you this. For a long, long time, whenever I would hear a song on the radio, I would think like, how can I pull this off? I used to play in bands, and bands are fantastic, as you know, because of the collaborative nature of them.
Yeah. And
you can do stuff. But if you have a song, if you even when you write, that you try to do it all on one instrument, it's just not as good in your head. The people might like it, but in your head, it's like, man, this really needs drums and stuff.
Right.
And so that I really miss that collaborative aspect of it. And so every song that I would hear, anything that came on the radio or anything that, I'd see on TV, it'd be like, how can I pull this off if I wanted to pull this off? And now it's only been a few months, but now I find myself really just like liking music for music more than having it be a challenge or a fight.
Right. You're not analyzing it. You're just kind of like experiencing it. That's cool.
Yeah. Much happier.
Has made you more interested in different kinds of music? You know what I mean? Are you like just still going back to the same things, or you have like a new?
No, I like everything. I mean, I like everything. There's I don't like Chinese opera.
Right.
And I really don't like.
That's specific.
Yeah, and I have a hard time listening to new country,
right.
Like Florida Georgia Line and guys like that. That seems. I can just dismiss it.
I totally hate it personally. I'm like actively working against it. I wish I had your open mind about it. Like, well, it's not for me.
No. I like,
I'm just kidding.
Lyrics.
I'm just kidding.
And I like lyrics. So I like, stuff with some humor to it, but I don't like lame ass jokes. And that's what a lot of you can see it coming 100 miles away.
Right,
and then they say it 20 times. So it's like, yeah.
Yeah. Then they really lean into it, don't they? Yeah, that's right. They say lean into the bit. That's a theater term, right?
Yeah. Right. Give it all you got. Say yes.
Yeah. Say yes. So anything that most of the people who listen to this show are musicians, right? So anything that you've learned over the years you'd like to share with them? I mean, like especially some of the younger people who might be listening, or anything that might help them on their way. Anything worth passing down?
I would say show up on time and honor the gigs that you make,
right?
And go do them, and then that'll really help. And don't aim too high. I mean, like really, I've always thought of music as I like it as an art form, and for me, I was certainly more of a performer than an artist. And so my my gigs were, half rambling monologues and half songs. And
they were always fun though.
well, yeah, I had fun.
Yeah.
And so, I'd say, have fun. And but really, I never thought of it as like, this is going to make me famous or anything like that. I just thought of it as a job. Right now, my house is getting worked on by painters, plumbers, window guys. And, when they're done doing their job, which goes under my house or in my attic, and it's hot outside, like no one's applauding for them and no one's giving, here's some tips, and so like, I always thought it was like a shitty attitude as a musician or an actor to think like, aren't I special? Look what I can do,
Right.
And because you're surrounded by people every day that can do 100 things that you can't do at all.
Yeah, right. And, like building a porch correctly.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we both know Carl Anderson, and I've always been impressed by how amazing of a musician he is, but also like what a skilled carpenter he is, which is a whole other type of brain power,
Yeah, no, yeah. He did. I'm putting a wall back in. He put it in. He's actively cool. In my house this week. Yeah, I'm doing stuff.
Nice. Yeah,
I love Carl.
Yeah.
Carl and Jesse. I met them through Mitch Wyman. They were playing with him as a power trio, early 2000s at Bert's Bar out in
Sullivan's Island, right? Yeah, that's where I think that's where I met you. Actually, I met you and Louis D out there back in the day.
Yes.
So one more question for you. Actually, a couple questions really, but one that I really want to get to. Anything you'd like to say to all the people that you've entertained in Charleston all these years? I mean, some of them might be listening. Who knows? I know you had a lot of raucous shows down at Blind Tiger and all that. Those are good times.
Oh, man, it really is crazy. I probably there were probably at least 5 years and maybe 7. I kind of lose track of time, where I was doing like 300 gigs a year. And so, no holidays, no nothing. And I would try to sneak out of town maybe for something once a year. But it was just playing, inside, outside, all the time. And so I've started to, a few years back, like probably almost 10 years back, I'd say, I started to really just focus on having a static, regular week. And so for a long time, I played like the same places. I played the Blind Tiger, I think, for altogether like 20 years, maybe more, 21, 22 years. And Henry's for like 5. And I just finished Burns Alley for like 10 years and out on Folly, St. James Gate. And before that, Cafe Suzanne, where Rita's is now, Shawnee, where that was about 10 years. And so it was, it kind of goes back to the other question too. I built relationships with the people that were owners and managers of these places. And they knew that I was going to, do what I do and deliver the right stuff and try to make it so it wasn't ever the same. And, you'd have to ask them what they think about that. But
well, they kept hiring you, so they must have liked it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And so just a gigantic thank you for the people that put their faith and trust in me to do what I'm doing. And because it's weird. I don't do pop songs. I don't do any top 40 stuff. It's all B-side weird songs or a bunch of stupid originals, and and so it is an acquired taste, and after a while at all of these places, it built a regular clientele that and I'm just glad people stuck with it and kept thinking it was funny, because I did.
That's great. So we're going to put a song up as our break here. Taking the Train to Malaysia, I think, might be the song. Care to tell us about who's on the track and anything about it?
Let's see. On this one, Mitch is playing guitar.
Mitch Wyman, right?
Mitch Wyman, and this would be Jesse Anderson on bass. I think Carl's on the drums on this one as well. Then there's let's see what else is on there. Me on the keys, and this is a story when we were living in Bangkok. We were there as illegal immigrants. We were overstaying our visa all the time, and so we had to leave the country every 90 days to go get another visa stamp and a passport. And the cheapest way to do it was to take this train from Bangkok down to Malaysia, and you'd go to this island, and you'd take a ferry to this island, and then you'd give your passport to these Saudis, and then you'd meet them back on the street 24 hours later, and they'd give you your passport back, and it would have a stamp in it. And it was very civilized. It was excellent. And I did it so many times, I wrote a song about it.
That's great.
So that's the train to Malaysia.
Okay.
And every word is true.
All right. Well, when you taking off for Mexico, man? When's the boat?
60 days. 60 I think days. Maybe like 65 days.
And you got
October. Yeah.
And you got a place down there already and everything ready to go?
I have a destination, and probably within the week I'll have an apartment. But we booked the flight to leave here on October 24. And so there's an old song by Pat McLaughlin out of Tennessee. So I told my friends I was going, and so this time I got to go.
That's great. That's great. Another chapter, man. Might be the best one.
That's my plan.
Yeah.
I used to move so much, and 25 years here in one spot. I never saw a tree grow up. I never saw a neighbor kid go from being a little tiny kid to going to college and stuff like that. And certainly not in my own life. It's just been me and my wife, Gail, the whole time. And so it's kind of this was a good lesson and a good sort of thing in the long run to sort of pause and see what happens if you look and watch, Yeah. And, but I've always kind of been looking at everything in the rearview mirror kind of guy. And so I've been ready for a while to move on and see something else.
That's great, buddy.
And learn Spanish.
Yeah, you're right. Good luck with that. Hey, man. Thanks.
Soy optimista.
Thanks for taking some time to talk with us today, man. I appreciate it.
Sure. Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. I can't wait to listen.
Okay, cool, man. Adios.
Adios. Hasta luego.
Value
Next up on the SMP, we have Mr. Drew Madden, a very old friend of mine who also happens to be the general manager of Maybank Public House here on lovely James Island. If you have watched any of the YouTube clips, then you have seen the room and enormous table where we record most of our in-person interviews. If you're listening through earbuds, then I'm sure you've probably heard some occasional traffic sounds from Maybank Road popping through from time to time, which I personally kind of like. I invited Drew on the show to thank him for his help in creating the Slightly Mighty podcast. So here we go. Welcome to the show. Finally, Drew Madden. How are you doing?
Yes, I'm doing well, man. Thank you for giving me some time on your esteemed podcast here.
Hey, man. So thank you for letting us be in your place. What exactly convinced you to let me do it?
You know, I saw your post on Facebook, and I think we had talked about it at a certain point that, you know, I kind of had a similar idea at a certain point, you know, to try to highlight the Charleston music scene.
Right.
And I thought your idea was great. I thought it was great you were going to run with it. And, you know, I was happy to help in whatever way I could.
Yeah.
And just by providing the place, I mean, that's all I had to do was come in and unlock a door, man. You took it from there. Because yeah, it's, you know, I think it's been an amazing thing to watch this music scene grow in Charleston. And
yeah, exactly. When did you come down here? You moved out. When did
I've
you
been
move
here? It's actually 20 years this month.
20 years this month. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thanks for doing your part to help us out. I know a lot of people in this town are, you know, a lot of businesses in this town really have made this community as good as it is. You know, I don't think we could have gotten anywhere with the music scene here without the help of all you awesome businesses too. I mean, you know, like just providing me a space for free is crazy. Can you imagine doing that in New York?
Oh, this was for free?
Free for me.
No, man, like I said, it's just nice to be a part of it, and, you know, and being in such close proximity, you know, to the poorhouse. You know, I do feel a connection with that, you know, just beyond being a patron of theirs and being a fan of a lot of the bands that come through there. You know, we've kind of been linked to them, just you know, through geography,
right?
You know, since my time there, since we opened up there, you know, with a lot of the guys you and gals you had on the podcast itself, you know, they've been coming through the restaurant and being patrons of ours and becoming friends of ours throughout this whole thing. So, you know, I already felt connected to it. So just to be a little bit more connected is really an honor, honestly.
Well, thanks, Drew. I appreciate you, man. And if we have a season 2, are we welcome back or what?
You are more than welcome back. We're gonna have to, you know, restructure that free contract, though. You know?
Right. Well, I can wash dishes too, man. I've done it. All right, man. Thanks for taking time to talk to us today, man.
Hey, thanks, Sean. We'll see you around, bud.